Hello and welcome back to the Horse Racing Network with me, Izzy Phillips, and I'm joined as always by racing broadcaster and journalist Paul Auster as we preview the fifth and final day of Royal Ascot. Hopefully some of our selections and previews have made you very rich by now, and we're on to that final day. Obviously, Paul, this is the farthest day from declarations in terms of our recording, so we've already discussed that there's quite a few double entries, but some common ones that you tend to see on this day generally anyway. We're going to start off with the Queen Elizabeth II, the QE2 Jubilee Stakes, which is a 6 furlong sprint. Very, very exciting race. You've got here at the top of the market the likes of Lazat, popular horse Inisherin. You've got Storm Boy, Satono Rev, Top Gear. I'm sure that'll be a popular one for people that like backing because of a name. Kind of Blue, Believing, Flora of Bermuda. You've got Regional. Inisherin's kind of nemesis elite status. They seem to constantly run against each other. He's also going here. And a horse that won the other day in James's Delight, which I was absolutely astounded by, 22-1. Kikuli for Harry Charlton. But yeah, you're sort of in the realms of 33-1 now, Paul. Lots of others still in here, including one for Cheveley Park, who won at Royal Ascot. Won at Royal Ascot last year in Unequal Love, who's currently 66-1. But where does your eye go?
Well, I think if starting at the top of the market, because they're expecting the French horse to be favourite for this, Lazat. And this is a very, very good French sprinter. And it was just found out down in Australia, beaten by Lake Forest over the extended 7 furlongs, but came out first time back in Europe. Not the first time, actually the second time back in Europe, winning by 5.5 lengths over 6 furlongs in listed company, just to tee it up for this. It's trained by Jérôme Renier, who's a really good French trainer. And I would think it would have a big chance. My only question mark about Lazat is the ground. If it is riding quick on Saturday, I'm not so sure it'll suit Lazat, whose best form is on good to soft, good ground at best. So that will be a bit of a concern, I think. Now, this is obviously a 6 furlong race, and we've got some very high-class horses, but it's often been the trend over at Royal Ascot, particularly since Choisir won the race in the early 2000s, having won the King's Stand on the Tuesday, for horses to run on the Tuesday and again on the Saturday. So don't rule out the prospect that if you're interested in one for the sprint and it's run on Tuesday, or it's not going to run on Saturday. Some of them will. And very often these sprinters can turn it in around in 5 days. And there's some good horses. Storm Boy is down to go on Tuesday. He got a big reputation, but he didn't show a whole amount at the Curragh. Probably needed the run on his first start since Australia for Aidan O'Brien. Inisherin, of course, won the 3-year-olds equivalent, the Commonwealth Cup last year, beating Lake Forest over the course and distance. And he's already shown himself in great form, winning the Duke of York Stakes. And I think if the ground is quick, he may go off favourite ahead of Lazat.
Yes.
There's also one from, there's the Japanese horse, is he here? Satono Rave.
Yes.
Now,
I see that.
It's all, yeah, I don't know too much about the Japanese form other than knowing that when they go international, as we've seen in Dubai and in Qatar and Saudi Arabia,
America,
they do
they
well.
sent a couple,
Australia,
haven't they?
Yeah, I mean, they're very good horses. So if this one does come for the race, Satono Rave, you'd have to respect it. But I'll probably be sticking with the horse that I put up as one of my horses to follow, and that is Kind of Blue for James Fanshawe, who won the champion sprint over the course and distance when it was soft ground, but is also very capable on a quick surface, and was 4th last year in that Commonwealth Cup behind Inisherin. It's a better horse now. And with that one run under its belt over an inadequate 5 furlongs this season when it wasn't given a hard time, and also, most importantly, it reared up as the stalls open in France at Chantilly on the 1st of June. And that basically was end of the game. So they just let it come home as best it can. I think Kind of Blue will go really well for the skeleton, as he's known in the trade, James Fanshawe. And that would be my pick for the QE2 Jubilee, as it's called now.
Very, very exciting runner. Like, I was thinking that you can put a line through that last run. You see that 9 in the form figures there, and it can be a bit off-putting. And actually, looking at 10-1 here, I think he's a really good price at 10-1. You got the Wafnan colours as well, and they obviously love to purchase horses. They bought so many recently. I agree with you with it. Inisherin, I think, as that ground firms up across the course of the week, I think he could end up certainly going off favourite. He's one that I'd certainly like the look of. But I'd agree with you, actually. A horse like Kind of Blue would probably be one that would take my eye. I know you said that it can be common for horses to be able to turn it around, but I probably would plump for like a fresh set of legs in this one. But yeah, you know, I know I mentioned James's Delight. I think he's probably going to want a little bit more cut in the ground. I'm not absolutely certain he's going to get that. And the same goes for another one I mentioned with Unequal Love. So I do think a horse like Inisherin is likely to shorten, and probably a sort of horse I would fancy here, alongside maybe your Kind of Blue as well. They're the two that stand out to me. I'm not a big backer of the French horses. I know, and I do like Believing over 6 furlongs, and that is exactly what I said.
Yeah.
But will Believing...
I was waiting for you to mention that.
Will he run twice, though? Will he? That's what I'm like...
As I said earlier, it's been done. They've tried it a number of times, and sometimes horses that haven't won on the Tuesday have come out and won on the Saturday. So I know you really love that horse.
I really do, and I really like Believing over 6 furlongs, which would mean I probably prefer him in this race than I would earlier in the week. I'd absolutely love for him to be an on-runner and just target this, to be perfectly honest. But yeah, absolutely, he's not out of it. All being well, and you know he does potentially run in both or just go for this. It's Believing over 6 furlongs all day, every day, as long as he runs, or as long as he's none the worse for running earlier in the week.
Okay, you heard it here first.
That is truly believing, isn't it? Believing over 6 furlongs is what I'm doing.
You're a believer.
I'm a believer. And then after that one, our final race that we're going to cover for our Royal Ascot preview is we've actually got the Wokingham Stakes on the Saturday. Top of the market there, we've got More Thunder for William Haggis. You've then got Giraffe for Owen Burrows. Oh, God, I've got to say this one now. Amram. No. You might have to help me with this one. I'm like seeing so many R's and A's, I can't get it right.
This is the horse that I tipped up as one of my horses to follow this season. Do you remember?
Aramran. Oh, yes. Aramran. That's it.
You see, you forgot that.
I did forget. Never So Brave. Symbol of Honour, obviously, has been incredibly impressive so far this season. Invictus Gold, Completely Random, Elman Jed, Germanic, Get It, Orazio, Anaf, Wiltshire. God, so many still in here. Loads of them.
99.
You're just going to go for a Ramran, though, aren't you?
Well, there are 99 horses. There are 99 horses still in this race as we're making this recording. I think what we can say is that anything drawn probably lower than 50 is probably not going to run, or it's going to be lucky to get a run.
Yeah.
So you're looking at the top of. I think a Ramran will run another really big race.
Yeah.
I've got no doubt about that. He's very closely handicapped with More Thunder, who is come off second best to a couple of times. He's slightly better off at the weight. More Thunder is your favourite at 6-1 on the early betting and 12-1 bar. But
yeah,
I think a Ramran will be, wherever More Thunder is, I think a Ramran will be close with him. I'll just give you a few horses that I've noted down as being worth just putting on your shortlist when you're trying to analyse this race. Of course, we don't know that they're all going to run.
Yes.
But one is the top weight, Bucanero Fuerte, Irish horse, who's been running in Group 1s most of the time. And all of a sudden, he shows up here in a handicap, having bolted up in a confidence-boosting listed race at Naas last time. I mean, this horse, has been running against Brad Sell and Henry Longfellow and Kind of Blue and Montes. Is a smart horse who will carry weight and probably carry it quite well. You've got last season's Stewards Cup winner, Get It, for George Baker, who popped up at 33 to 1 in the Stewards Cup at Goodwood last summer and has already won at Ascot over the course and distance this season. He's gone up £7 for that. Was due to run at Epsom on Saturday, but the ground went against him when they had that downpour. So he's one to have on side. Zoom Zoom's another one for Rafe Beckett. Good old Apollo, one for Peter Sheralambus. Always thereabouts in these big races. If it rains, Holcombe Bay would be one that I'd be interested in. But the one that eventually I've written down here is the likely one for me, alongside a Ram, my two against the field, a Ram and Never So Brave. Never So Brave is trained by Andrew Balding. It was beaten a nose by mile in a red-hot handicap at Chester recently. And this is a horse that stays 7 furlongs, and I think that's going to help because in a really, lickety-split 6 furlongs, run like a bat out of hell up the hill at Ascot, you need a horse that will see out at least 6.5, even 7. So Never So Brave and a Ram are my two against the field.
I am going to go here with Symbol of Honour. Super exciting horse. I think he's been fantastic over 6 furlongs. The only time that he's got, perhaps a less than ideal number in his form figures is when he was, where did he finish? 6th of 10, and that was to Cosmic Year, but that was over 7 furlongs. This is 6 back at his, his ideal distance, and I think that for me, I think he could be a really classy horse in here. Certainly, like you say, with the numbers at the minute, he's number 12, so very likely to get a run. And where I'm going to go if he runs, definitely Symbol of Honour for me. I'll be Boys in Blue on Saturday, but we're not going to have any talk of rain because I'm actually going on the Saturday, so no rain allowed.
Okay, well, I'm sure the sun will be shining. Just one point about Symbol of Honour, which is that it's a 3-year-old against older horses, and it's never competed against older horses before. No. So that could be an advantage in that it may well be handicapped to do something special. And it's obviously a very talented horse because it's been running in Group 2s. So it is a really good-looking Wokingham handicap this year.
Yeah, really nice racing. I'm really excited to go on the Saturday. I'm going to hopefully try and bring everyone along with me as well and do a nice little come to Ascot with me video. So I've got to do some shopping and getting ready and
life's hard.
Yeah, so I'll
have you got a hat?
I have.
A fascinator.
No, it's not actually. It's one that kind of, if I tied it up round the front, it would look like a bonnet. Who's that lady from Truly Scrumptious from Cheap Bang Bang?
Okay.
No, but I'm going to tie it like round the back and put the ribbon in my hair, rather than go for the kind of classic look. But yeah, no, I'm going to keep any more of the details under wraps because I know everyone's absolutely dying to know. I'm not going to reveal the colour either because I'll let the betting market do its business there. But yeah, I'm so excited to go. I love Royal Ascot. I can't wait. I'll go to the car park. We'll have the strawberries. We'll have a champagne. Probably a few little sandwiches. M&S like picky bits. You've got to push the boat out for Royal Ascot. So no Tesco's here. M&S only. That's not an endorsement, by the way, obviously.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Other strawberries are available. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm sure it's gonna be a great meeting. 5 fantastic days with world-class horses, top jockeys from around the world, great trainers, big crowds, and all the spectacle of the royal occasion. I'm already looking forward to
the pomp and pageantry of it all. Certainly hope we get some good guests down in the carriages as well. I like seeing what everyone's wearing and who comes along. You usually get Beatrice and Eugenie. And do you remember that year one of them wore the pretzel hat? I wonder if we'll get anything like that again. Iconic.
I don't think they're going to make that mistake twice. Yes. Yeah.
Some iconic fashion choices, but yeah, really enjoyable week, and we hope that you all have a really enjoyable and hopefully lucrative betting week as well, and hopefully our previews have gone some way to help you get there. But thank you so much for joining us, and do join us again soon.